guys, it is me, the good old MFG. We are here with the Overwatch 2 Beta Brawl. We've got Summit 2 and Basalt and Battery 2, two previous BPL teams, rebranded for this fun event. We're in the middle of it, new game mode push. We already see some familiar faces with an unfamiliar map. That is right, we're on the new Toronto map for Overwatch 2. If anyone tuned into the beta streams, you should be familiar with that. But right now, in the middle of the match, both teams contesting the push spot right now, trying to make sure that they can push it all the way to the objective. Just a little refresher, since this is going to be the newest game mode. So far, it looks like Summit 2 is going to be the ones in control of the bot, getting the kills, Bolting Cake, finding Fungin, Gavin the Slime, finding Trisky, the supports doing all the DPS work, Pear getting some rockets into Thanatos, and the bot is now going. And then we also have some action. Looks like different teams, but that's alright. Overwatch 2 has too many teams, but it looks like now we're talking Admin Aces 2 and 6-man down 2. So these are the right teams. We had a little switcheroo, but still stands. It looks like, according to this new swap, it's going to be the Admin Aces 2 that is going to be in the lead right now. But Thanatos winning that Sombra battle. 6-man down 2 now coming in. Verity finding 2. Finding 3 now for 6-man down. Brightside getting that last kill onto Pear. Bot now gonna go in the other direction. So it's gonna be up now for Admin Aces to try to get this bot to stop. Meanwhile, 6-man down 2. They have ultimates able to keep themselves in the running. It's interesting now though, because in case again you forgot, in Overwatch 2 we only have one tank, and it looks like Doomfist has been made into a tank, which is what Admin Aces is running. But Thanatos lays down that EMP and is able to make sure 6-man down continue pushing the bot. Admin Aces 2, they have the Sombra ult coming up soon as well. That could definitely be paired, get it, with Pear's visor as well. So Admin Aces 2 is not too left out here on this. And 6-man down 2. They don't have any ultimates right now, but Fungin is close to another beat. So if they try to do that ultimate combo, there is a bit of saving grace. But the bot is now being contested again. But Fungin finding a kill on the parity, so no hack to be used there at all. Instead, it's going to be Pear, though, finding 2 with the visor. Despite being hacked, the visor finds 3 and allows Admin Aces to claim the upper hand. That is exactly what you want there from Admin Aces 2. Even if you weren't able to get that combo off, you're still able to use an ultimate in a way that helped. So now 6-man down 2. Like I said, still on track to get that beat. Now Admin Aces 2 have the EMP to use again. Parity died in the beginning there, but now they are back, waiting to see a perfect opportunity to do so, waiting for the members of 6-man down. Looks like EMP strikes, but doesn't seem to find too much. Looks like Verity got trapped in there, but Trisky gonna win the support battle there. So is Fungin, taking out Gavin and Pear. 6-man down 2, looking good so far. Fungin finding every kill. Verity coming in for the cleanup. Thanatos as well, again winning that Sombra battle there. But now, yet again, looks like it's going to be going into the way of 6-man down 2. This game mode is pretty interesting because it's like the bot could just switch directions at any moment, but then that would mean there's, assuming, I mean Overwatch 2, that would mean there's more distance now for if Admin Aces captured the bot to push, which is ideal in this new kind of game mode. People are still feeling it out, casters, players alike, but the fight is happening as we speak. Bolting Cake using the orb to find Verity. So far, it's a 4v4 fight, but EMP finding 3. That is a good percentage to have if you are 6-man down 2. And it looks like that EMP is going to pay off. Doesn't look like they're struggling one bit.
Nope, don't think so. Hello gamers, hello everyone. Yes, I'm here. Yeah, as I said, this is my first look at Overwatch 2 testing. I don't quite know what's done on this map, but by the looks of it, 6-man down are getting some nice progress on the push ball.
They are indeed. It looks like they are set to take the lead here, but Admin Aces is not going to be giving up. Pear finding Trisky to begin this fight. It looks like Brightside is falling dangerously low as well. Bolting Cake finishing them off. Admin Aces 2, they know that the bot's almost there, so they're going to have to fight tooth and nail to make sure that it turns around to be pushed in their direction.
Yeah, definitely. I think Admin Aces moving there. The objective is already an improvement from what we saw from Admin Aces 1. So, new Overwatch, brand new start for Admin Aces 2. Of course, got no current or former members of the original Admin Aces team. These are all new players, essentially a free agent team for 6-man down. They have some synergy, a little bit from various teams around BPL B League in particular. The fight that comes in from Pear, though, it's going to find a double.
Pear cleaning up and doing what they need to do to bring Admin Aces to the top of this fight. Things are looking better for them than before. Admin Aces now are looking amazing, and 6-man down too. They're gonna have to try to figure out a new strategy here if they want to keep themselves alive in the game.
They are. Both of these teams just really playing very ultimate reliant comps. Well, that's a soldier diff and EMP to counter out there. That's 40% of your base HP going down. It's just balanced MFG. I really love that EMP. I'm just chilling. I absolutely despise it. It's so unbalanced. I can't wait for it to be nerfed. And Parody just presses Q and 40% of the base HP of everyone on 6-1 down just instantly snapped.
Couldn't have worded that better. Just that one ultimate. Didn't even have to use multiples. Just wiping the entire team out there. Admin Ace's robot still being pushed pretty good. 6-man down 2, having some ultimates. Brightside's gonna pop out that Primal Rage as well as Fungin's Beat. And there's an EMP. Finds 4! That is now what you want to see if you're 6-man down 2 fan. Admin Ace is scrambling now. They're gonna have to hide. They've just been ambushed. Now Bot going in the way of 6-man down 2. That's a good thing for them, but at the same time, now they only have one ultimate left.
Yeah, they really do, but I think one ultimate might be all they need because it's basically bone dry for Admin Aces. The primary win condition for them is that EMP, and they can't match with Coalescence. Those are the two important ones in this new 6-1 composition that we're seeing from both of these sides. So Tristy's just got a free chance to run at them with Coalescence.
And here it comes right now. You predicted it and it got hacked! Oh, Choccy got hacked out of the Coalescence. That is such a good response there from Parody. Man, you hate to have that happen to you. And Admin Aces 2 is capitalizing on that great play, looking like they're going to be winning this fight.
Yeah, 6-1 down still had tempo advantage with, but that instant interrupt, man, they basically just got caught with their pants down. They aggressed, they forced onto Admin Aces under the guidance, under the knowledge that they were going to have that massive burst of Coalescence healing coming out from Tristy, and it's just interrupted. Parody once again presses one button on Sombra and completely changes the course of the fight, and guess what? He's got the other funny button again. Now he's got EMP, 40% of the base HP, everyone on 6-1 down if he can hit it. There we go, gone.
And it looks like with the 2-second mark coming in, we're going to be going into overtime. Not sure how overtime's going to work on push, but obviously there's going to have to be a fight to keep that going. 6-man down 2, throwing out everything. We even see Verity on that Reaper. Overtime ticking down, though. And it looks like the winner of push is going to go to the Admin Aces 2.
Yep, they got it. So obviously because it was overtime, they had people on the objective. They had the push in this case, and they also had more meters in the objective bank. So that meant that 6-1 down, once overtime went down, hey, they weren't able to continue the map. If 6-1 down would have been on the objective, then they'd have had a chance to push it all the way back, all 80 meters back, and then the further 50 to try and beat Admin Aces score that higher number. But for them, no, sorry. I'm gonna turn my cam on 1 second, guys. I'll go to .cam.
I really liked the way that push was played, because admittedly for me, this is actually my first time seeing that in action, and the strategies that each team has to come up with in order to either push it to the target or in this case gain the meter percentage that's like the higher meter percentage. So it's like, in all technicality, it's like you don't have to complete it, kind of like with like the payload, like as long as you get the faster percentage, which is something really neat.
Yeah, something I've seen already. I've played, admittedly I've been permanently in the spawn room when I've played. I either sub for Burger of the Week and then I helped for Basalt and Battery, but I've played enough push now to know that you really only need one hole where you can snowball it. Like if you get to something like 60, 70 meters, yes, you're going to lose the fight eventually, but the enemy are going to have to use their primary win condition to get you off that objective. And what does that mean? Well, the next fight isn't them actually getting progress back for themselves. They are literally just escorting Bob back to the neutral point where they can then begin their progress as well. So oftentimes you find that even if you win a fight, you have to chain multiple together to actually get over that progress. So it's really important that you're, I think, aggressive in the neutral fights, in that you're very, very good at being able to manage your ult economy, because it can run deep, it can run dry so quickly. Something that does not run dry though, MFG, is the ever-flowing river of Eichenwald. That's where we're heading for our next map.
Something familiar for us Overwatch 1 fans, good old classic payload. But I like what you said about the aggression, because I think it still stands through with the ult economy, because in the 5v5 game mode, it's going to be really more important to have your ult economy balanced well, because you technically have less ultimates to rely on, because 5v5. So it is going to be super duper important, especially with the tank ultimates in particular, for obvious reasons. But looking at these compositions, we actually see some new hero profiles, which is nice. We see the new Mei, the new Rhine. That's really nice to see. But these compositions are quite different.
They are. Admin Aces are going to be looking to essentially just run it down mid and stack on a team with Parody and Cypher playing that ever classic Mei Reinhardt combo that we've seen since the emergence of 2-2-2 for 6-man down. They're going to kind of do the same thing, except Riptide is just a horse going at Mach 10 with a Javelin ready to go. That's going to be an early wall force though, so 6-man down really might have a good opportunity to advance onto point here.
The battle is beginning already. Admin Aces 2 forced to defend quite early on, but it looks like 6-man down 2 is going to be able to get the first kill of the match there. And coming now, Verity getting the kill onto the Lucio. Admin Aces are falling quickly, and it looks like 6-man down 2 is going to be able to capture that point quite quickly, thanks to that really aggressive push there in the start.
Yeah, they saw the window, which was Parody using that Mei wall too early, did not manage to find anything with that cooldown, and 6-man down. They had nothing else. There was nothing really to split them up, to contest them. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze 1 second. It's summer really over here, and it's hay fever. Anyway, yeah.
I was gonna say, I really like the scenery because of like the weather modifications now. It's sunset instead of broad daylight. But now it looks like it might be high noon, because Admin Aces has swapped onto the Cassidy there with Pear, and they're gonna come out here again. They're gonna try to match the aggression, but Riptide is gonna take down Cypher, but Pear finds Riptide, both teams without their tank. But Admin Aces without more, 6-man down 2, continuously beating that aggression with better aggression of their own to make this payload go.
Yeah, they managed to get the flip of the fight. Nice play from Thanatos. Only managed to find one, but they got the flip in tow as well. Trisky did some nice work in that fight as well to find a pick with the nade. And now for 6-man down, well, they can play this like classic Overwatch. They've got ult advantage, they've got push. Admin Aces don't really have the composition to hold this high ground. They are going to have to drop onto cart eventually. And I mean, 6-man down resources, they're fine to take a fight at close range.
A support ult are popped out for that close range fight, but it looks like the visor there from Verity is going to be able to do the heavy work, and there you have it. Admin Aces 2 are falling, 6-man down, holding strong.
Yep, they're going to keep that payload pushing. Soldier, really nice to see him back in the meta, obviously. It's just Visor is so strong now. There are no shields in the game, there's a lot less CC, and what does that mean? Well, it's just a shooting range for Soldier players, and Verity there, well, the free shooting range tool is the tactical visor. That's the new ultimate, the Terraform coming in from Riptide. Doesn't manage to find it on Parody. May up force in response.
I really like that new Orisa ult. I just watched a preview video of that, and the rework just looks so fun, but also super useful. Because that new ult that you just highlighted, it's like a combination between the Zarya grab and the Sigma Slam, where it pulls enemies in and also does that damage that you really want in order for the rest of the team to do some really easy cleanup. So that may not have worked out now, but if you have the strategy where your enemies are nearby enough for that to happen, it could be a very powerful tool in Overwatch 2.
There's been some very degenerate tech where you can actually terraform and run off the map yourself, throw yourself into the abyss, and you will drag the enemies down with you. Speaking of being dragged down, Cypher finds Tristy, but took one down, they trade 2 back.
In the fight, looking like it might go the way of Admin Aces, trading kills left and right. Bolting Cake finding the latest one there. Parody following soon after.
They win this one.
They win it there. Looks like they are going to be able to defend successfully there.
Yeah, big fight for Admin Aces, actually. They're coming up on their own ultimates now, and Thanatos has used Blade. That is the primary win condition, one of the two. Obviously, these DPS ultimates, the Soldier and the Genji, they're there for a reason, because everything that suppressed them, everything that kept them basically as D-tier heroes in Overwatch 1 MFG, they're just gone now. They've been deleted. So they're so free to be able to do whatever they want and be completely uncontested. So when you lose those key resources in that DPS ultimate, those combo, I mean, admin aces, they're laughing all the way to the bank here when they've got Cole ready to go for this fight.
And it looks like some tanks have been swapped as well. Riptide now on the Winston, and Cypher now going to the D.Va. And now here we come. Parity finding a kill, but Thanatos returning it very, very quickly. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be coming up on top yet, but Thanatos finds Pear, winning that DPS battle. Cypher is able to get the remake and finds two! What a squish! Turning the fight for Admin Aces, finding a third there for Riptide. Make it 4 onto that Lucio. Almost a full team kill just by Cypher there.
Oh my, it's still in the game. You still have to be wary of it. From the heavens, the D.Va mech strikes, and 2 members of 6 Man Down are just turned into a painting. They are absolutely splattered. And Admin Aces now, they're in a perfect position to hold 1 minute 37 left on the clock. Such a great point to anchor on the objective. They've got the great composition to do it as well. They just need to be clean and precise with their ultimates, and it could be a very, very tasty hold.
There's that Blizzard popped out there from Parity, trying to make sure that is a very easy win for Admin Aces. Looks like it's going to happen. 6 Man Down 2 has some ultimates to use, but I don't think they're going to be using them just yet. They have to back out and retreat, but look at this. The entire team almost has all of their ultimates to go. And you even see Thanatos is kind of creeping around there, waiting for that Genji blade to strike, so the rest of 6 Man Down 2 can get in and do their business. Admin Aces too, in terms of defense, they almost have both of their support ults too, so 6 Man Down will have to be weary of that.
They do have Beat, but that's really the only counterplay. You have Visor and you have the Dragon Blade as well, so this Beat has to be good from Gavin.
Here it is popped out right now, trying to combat all the ultimates being thrown at once, but it looks like both DPS ults from 6 Man Down are going to be able to find kills. This is kind of last fight territory here. We're below the 30-second mark. Thanatos looking to finish off any remaining members left. Bomb comes out from Cypher. Doesn't find anyone just yet. High Noon coming out there from Pear, looking to be deflected. Doesn't, though. And here we go. We have a new marker there. It looked like may have been a ping system, I want to say. But 6 Man Down 2 are coming back now from this fight.
They are. Looks like they're going to be able to flip it, despite the enormous pressure that Parity can hold over this objective on the Mei. 6 Man Down just had too many resources. There was 1 beat for both DPS ultimates, and really you need to use Sound Barrier for both of them. They managed to find through the barrier as well that decayed far too fast for its value. I wonder if Gavin is going to go over to something else now, because he's not going to get beat in time, and Thanatos has almost got another blade as well. He's charged that so quickly. This might be a 40-second blade, ladies and gentlemen, so let's see what they can do with it, MFG.
Here it comes, a shatter attempted, but looks like it got stunned. But the blade coming out, looking like it finds Parity, and Trisky's Coalescence finds Pear, who had swapped onto the Junkrat. Trisky, though, finding 2, Riptide getting in there for that last kill. Admin Aces 2 are struggling here. They only have 1 ultimate here for this last push. 6 Man Down 2, they are close to 2 ultimates of their own. So here is real last fight territory. Admin Aces 2 pops out the Blizzard to begin it, wanting to go super aggressive here. We already see Cypher doing that charge. No kills on the table just yet for any team. Reinhardt pins Reinhardt. Cypher is going to win that battle, putting Admin Aces at an advantage. Having that shatter too, laying it down and finding good space with that bolting cake, able to capitalize on that and find those last 2 kills. Beats also been dropped as well from Admin Aces 2. May not have been too necessary.
No, if they get the touch, it could potentially be punished, but I think it's just an ego beat to wrap it up. It looks like 6 Man Down have managed to stabilize. They had nice ultimate rotations in the end there. Trisky doing work with that Coalescence. There is just less HP in the game now, which means more fun for the Moira. Moira damage beam, go brr, and there we go. Both of these compositions, not too bad. They're finding ways to substitute for the lack of damage that comes in from having another tank, as we've so traditionally seen in 6v6. So something that I was really concerned about is the burst healing in the game too much. due to the fact that, yes, there is one less tank, but tanks are known to do the same, if not more damage, as some of the DPS that we have on the roster currently in the game. So I was really concerned about the amount of burst healing in the game. I think it currently still is too high. However, I think Lucio's ultimate charge might prove me wrong, but nonetheless, 6-1 down managed to stabilize. They used great usage of the Moira there, just getting coalescence up every fight. So valuable compared to the nano boost, compared to the sound barrier. Kept them up and alive in econ, and 6-1 down now basically just have to finish the map to get the W.
I like how you hit on all those points about the differences now as we move into Overwatch 2 in terms of what's going to be viable, what should be toned down or eliminated. Specifically, you talked about the burst healing. And I find it interesting because I feel like the 5v5 structure is going to give a lot of leeway to new things in terms of compositions and who is going to be good. Like, for example, in my mind, there is one less tank. Tanks obviously have the most HP in the game. So that's going to give maybe some traditional off healers some time to be in the spotlight because they don't have to focus on healing as much HP as they had used to do. So for example, like a Mercy could probably be viable in both damage boosting the DPS, but also healing that one tank.
Yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more with that. I think Mercy's End might be the best botline in the game right now. It's really early to say, but I think when you look at the DPS that are good now, right? MFG, it's Soldier and it's Genji. They are absolutely your Z tier, S++ tier heroes. These are your core win conditions. I think you're building compositions around Sombra, around Genji, around Soldier. What supports those perfectly? Well, their win conditions, those individual heroes' win conditions are their ultimates. And what gets them their ultimates faster? Mercy. Valkyrie is a great support ultimate as well to be able to play with tempo. It's such low, what's the word? English. It's easy charge time, right? The ultimate cost is very, very low. And when you combine that with the ability to damage boost to get other ultimates that might cost a bit too much now, if you can get them online quicker with a damage boost, it means that you can technically extend the poke phase, be a little bit cheeky with it, and play with something like that. Because right now, MFG, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I think if a Mercy, a Genji, and a Soldier can effectively just keep rotating their ultimates and they can get them basically one off every fight, I don't think there's a world in which any competition can beat it. Because Valk, Visor, and Dragonblade right now, in my opinion, they're just too strong. They're so good.
As a Mercy main, I love everything you just said, and now I need to get into the beta immediately because I could not agree more. I think that's such a good strategy now with that rotation of the ultimates. But it's interestingly enough that none of these teams are playing Mercy, but it does look like Trisky has opted for the Ana rather than the Moira this time around.
Yep, they were going to go on to the Moira instead, but admin aces, they just walk in and claim 3, 4? Wait, no, 6-1 down. Okay, I read the kill feed wrong, but never mind. Thanatos has just massacred everyone at 65% ult charge for them. Tristy's going to make the swap over to the Moira. So pretty much even compositions now, but it's going to be Orisa versus D.Va. Interesting enough. I don't think the D.Va wins that one. Orisa, so good, particularly with the amount of burst healing that Moira can give. It's an unbalanced amount, in my opinion, and 6-1 down, well, they just don't look to abuse that all the way to the bank.
Looks like maybe admin aces might try to do a pseudo dive type because of that D.Va being fast, because they were pretty aggressive, I gotta say, on their first push, because if you had paid attention to the kill feed, Thanatos, as they're doing now, killed everybody, but by the end of the fight, only 2 members from 6-man down 2 were left on the objective. So that kind of shows that admin aces has that potential to be super aggro and fall off the map. But point aside, 6-man down 2, looking good for their alt economy. Thanatos feeling a really good Junkrat right now, a hero that was not traditionally played.
No, definitely not on this map as well. What we saw that last fight, by the way, was admin aces poured everything on the kitchen sink into killing Riptide. He got Mayward and everything thrown at him. He just javelin blocked and fortified his way out, was back to half HP within 4 seconds. And what did that mean? It meant that Thanatos on that Junkrat had the free angle, had so much time and space to massacre everyone on admin aces, and now they're going to get rewarded with the tie for it. And it manages to just pick off Parody thanks to the right click from Choccy.
More ultimates are being thrown out on the side of admin aces. We saw that Blizzard, now we see the Coalescence, but all of those are in vain as the members of 6-man down 2 are able to do that rotation and focus that you need in order to make sure that their ultimates don't come to fruition. And I want to highlight that because it's not even just the new hero styles, it's literally just good old-fashioned teamwork. They knew how to rotate, they knew how to give the Natos the space they needed to make those plays. Admin Aces look like they're going to try to do a sharp rotation to get something going. We're in the minute 30-second area. Parody does find a kill on Verity. We see the rhyme there actually happening. Beat coming in though there from 6-man down 2 to try to make sure they retain their staying alive streak, but it looks like Pear says no and rockets instead. Ooh, but Riptide does the new Orisa ultimate, finds Gavin, but Cypher finds Riptide. Now the teams are trading kills. That's what you want if you're Admin Aces, giving you more of a shot. Looks like they're going to be able to take the payload objective without even having to commit any ultimates here.
Yeah, it comes in. Riptide pulls out the Terraform. Unfortunately, there is no fear on the side of Admin Aces. They'd already won that fight. It was a nice way for 6-man down to come back into the fight. I liked the idea and the intent behind it, MFG. Unfortunately, you're just not up numbers. 5v5, once you lose someone, you're down to 4 people. And, you know, yes, you were down to 5 people once in 6v6, but losing particularly a squishy on this new Overwatch 2 build is just so punishing.
That is another factor that teams need to realize. Like, maybe they might need to retreat sooner than they had thought of versus Overwatch 1. And that might bite some new players in the back because, like, they might not understand that they need to retreat and then they would just end up overcommitting, thinking they would win, and that'll put them in a pickle. But speaking of being put in a pickle, it looks like Admin Aces have gotten out of theirs. They're looking really good. They won that fight relatively easily. 6-man down 2, made a little bit of swaps. Riptide now on the Rhine, the Natos now on the Cassidy.
Yeah, they're just going to try and run at them with a Reinhardt. I don't mind the idea, but they're just getting blown up. I was questioning what this D.Va actually does in this composition, but it doesn't matter what the D.Va's doing in this composition because Bolting Cake is just killing everyone with that. Moira, Summit Champion for a reason, put some respect on Bolting Cake's name. Was a very underrated, definitely underscouted pick going in to BPL Season 3, got signed by Summit, popped off, and I mean, he's on another team, absolutely doing work and farming people in the lobby. Looks so good here, and really, Bolting Cake and Parody right now are the driving force behind Admin Aces and their success on this map.
Love to see those good plays in how they transfer over into Overwatch 1 and now into Overwatch 2. And it looks like the plays are going to be continuing on. Bomb coming in to try to get something done, doesn't seem to do so. Admin Aces wanting to go aggressive there.
Still alive.
But it looks like Riptide was able to get the kill. Cypher, though, and Parody finding ones of their own. It looks like still Admin Aces having the upper hand here.
Yeah, they managed to take it through. Once again, I thought they'd gotten drawn into the trap of playing front to back because Riptide lived for so long, but Admin Aces managed to overwhelm them. Now they've got a visor, excellent wall. And Admin Aces, thanks to some great target focus, thanks to some nice adaptations, and thanks to, honestly, Bolting Cake, Admin Aces are going to run away as your 2-0 winners and send 6-man down and out.
I think you mentioned this before when we were talking about the push map, but Admin Aces becoming a completely 180-degree turn there, getting all these wins instead of all of the losses. You love to see it. It's the ultimate redemption arc in BPL.
Yeah, I don't quite know how much redemption arc it is. It's akin to the Shanghai Dragons redemption arc in Season 1 to Season 2, where they just kicked essentially all of their shit players and got actual good ones. They got the Conde Panthera, didn't they? Admin Aces, it's the same brand, but it's definitely a different team. Bolting Cake taking the championship mentality and honestly just giving people the girl boss on nails. That was a really good Moira performance. I was impressed. Moira so strong. I mean, Damage Orb is still in the game. Coalescence is still in the game, and now you don't have to put it permanently over 2 tanks because you are the main source of that composition. As you said, 5v5, 1 less tank, more time to make plays as a support, and Moira is one of the better playmaking supports because I think it's just so easy to do it. And as I said, it was just a driving factor behind it. I look at that map, and when Bolting Cake is able to do damage, Admin Aces were just walking through these fights. They look so good.
DPS Moiras all around the world are rejoicing right now because now Moira can focus more on doing damage without it being too detrimental for the team because of just the freedom that these supports are getting now with this new Overwatch 2 structure. And it's going to be interesting to see how, over time, the entire player base, as well as the BPL one itself, is going to adapt to these new changes, these new compositions, because now it's like, oh, Moira's going to be really good now. What can I do to counter Moira? So
Yeah.
I'm eager to see what teams are going to be taking from this match moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm eager to see as well, in the more grand scope of things, how the next beta is and how everything else evolves, because I mentioned this when I was talking to a couple of people that I played and competed with, sort of friends in B-League last year, and I made the point that this is very much, this isn't Overwatch 2, this is Overwatch 1.1. There will be a lot of other beta waves coming after this, where, I mean, supports already, I think, need to be reworked. They need to be changed. I would say that their burst healing is too high. I would say their personal survivability cooldowns are too high as well. They need them personal survivability off cooldown, and they need less burst healing as well. And that's something that can change. The DPS and the tanks, they've got new toys to play with. But for supports, they've gotten a slight brig rework, and that's about it. A couple of number adjustments. So that role needs to be looked at and redefined, which we could see in the next beta. But for now, supports, in my opinion, MFG, they're the golden goose. They are the prime target for any team to play around and to play with. If you've got a good Mercy that can right-click a DPS, then hey, they're going to carry all the way to the bank. But when you're playing these rush-based competitions, as we saw, you have someone like Bolting Cake on Moira, and you can absolutely carry a series.
So what I'm hearing is, if I go into Overwatch 2 and whenever they create a competitive mode, I can climb to GM with just Mercy. Yay! But in all seriousness,
probably. Yeah.
In all seriousness, no, this was
yeah.
such an entertaining match to see, because of just seeing everything really come into fruition, because the public has only had access to this beta for like a couple days, and it's just so nice to see, and I'm really looking forward to more matches.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think it's going to be so interesting to cast. It's going to be so interesting to coach when I get back into that as well. In terms of playing, I've not quite found my foot in it yet. I think that's because I am old, and this game has gotten so much more mechanically intensive that my brain, and most importantly my hands, just cannot cope. But nonetheless, we are here to look at some of the best players in the community that have both active brains and active hands and working wrists. Results in the other bracket: Solomon Islands Salamanders, I believe that is, are going to be playing Summit. Neutral Cat and Emojicons going to be playing Seal Squad 2. Actually, sorry, knocked them out. They're going to be playing the winners of Aether 2 and Windmill 2, which I think probably should be Aether 2, if my scouting is correct. It's going to be Dutch 2 versus Texas Hard 2. I have absolutely no idea who will win that. Yeah, so interesting games going on in both sides of the bracket. All of these teams getting through, and I'd expect to see, particularly Summit 2, they look very strong. Neutral Cat and Emojicons 2 as well. I'd expect to see them go through in that upper bracket. I mean, Admin Aces, I think they've got a really good run here, MFG. I think they could potentially go all the way to the finals with who's left on their side of the bracket.
How fun would that be? I think that'll be the ultimate storyline that this organization has ever seen. I'm gonna manifest that into fruition. But I was gonna say, like, you mentioned Summit 2, and I also noticed that Sydney Surfers 2 is doing pretty well. So just these, like, previous teams who have won in the past, and now they're coming back as their second versions of themselves, I would still say to look out for those people, because if they've done it once, it could be inferred that they could do it again.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to see, though. I think it would be great for BPL history, and it would be right at the bottom of the ocean level iceberg if we get Seal Squad 2 versus Admin Aces 2 in the finals. For BPL lore, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm so down for that. I want it to happen. I am manifesting it. I am praising it. I would love to see it happen, because both of those brands, it would be such a transformation. But new Overwatch, new beginnings. So I think that's going to be it from us. I'm going to hop off, because I have lots of content and lots of stuff to do. But thank you, admin team, for allowing me to pull into this map. MFG casted basically the entirety of the first map by itself, so did a good job there. And yeah, that's it. I'll throw it to you for any closing thoughts before we head off.
Well, we said new Overwatch, new memories, and now new games. So don't go anywhere yet, because we are going to be searching for another game to broadcast. So we'll see who else is going to be able to climb up the bracket, potentially meeting Admin Aces in the finals.
2, 3, 4.
I've been learning how to love again. It's like a rush of blood straight to my head. I've been learning how to love again. I can feel it crawling under my skin. Just don't know why it's taking me all this time. Mending all these worn out feelings in my mind. I just wanna love me like you do. I just wanna love me just wanna I've been learning how to be a friend. I'm not the same like when I used to be. 'Cause now I'm better than I've ever been. Just being me now, you can't call it a sin. Just don't know why it's taking me all this time. Mending all these worn out feelings in my mind. I just wanna love me like you do. I just wanna love me like you do. I've been chasing all these feelings, but I couldn't even hear my truth. I've been running from emotions every time I feel something new. I just wanna love, I just wanna love, love, love. I just wanna love, I just wanna love, love, love. I just wanna love, I just wanna love, 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 love. I just wanna I just wanna love me like you do. I just wanna love me like you do. I've been chasing all these feelings, but I couldn't even hear my truth. I've been running from emotions every time I feel something new. I just wanna love me like you do. I just wanna love me like you do.
Welcome back, everybody. It is me, MFG, joined now by Megalas. Here we are, more Beta Brawl coming at you. This is going to be a B-League elimination match versus Team MTD2 and Hot Choccy 2.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, elimination match, which means one team will no longer continue after this. And I mean, you don't want to be one of the first teams out. That's always kind of the goal. So hopefully these teams will give it their all and be ready to brawl it out.
What better way to brawl it out in this bracket? So far in the upper, we have this Peep 2 versus Unpopular Demand 2. And now we are seeing who is going to be continuing in that lower bracket run.
Yeah, and you have definitely some interesting teams still left in it. Both these teams actually had to not earn their way here per se, because Hot Choccy got to fight Unpopular Demand before falling, but MTD currently have not won a match. They've taken a map off a draw too, but still looking for that match victory here. And I mean, now's got to be the time to do it.
Definitely so. And this elimination type feel will definitely provide that extra push they need in order to fight for that win. Obviously, at rosters, we know a lot of these names. Team MTD, we've got Tree Guy, Chicken, Rain, Tim. Hot Choccy, we've got Bunny, Chip, Dong Waggler. Lots of popular names.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something that kind of warms your heart when you see that MTD squad reunited again, just because it's a great group of people. And on the other side, Hot Choccy, I actually got the chance to ring for them last night, and I will say that they're just another great group of people. They're super fun. They are trying their best to win, but at the end of the day, they're realizing this is just the first beta. They're just there to have fun and kind of form some good friendships, which is always a good mentality to have.
Nothing better than the power of friendship. But it's interesting that you point out, like, the team is realizing that this is the first beta, because I think a lot of these teams are going to be facing those kinds of challenges where they might not be used to every aspect of Overwatch 2 yet, because we have only had this beta for a couple of days. So compositions are still being smoothed out, new game modes are being smoothed out. So it might seem a little bit rocky at first glance, but I think that it's going to be a great experimental time for everybody to learn and to see. And Hot Choccy is making sure that everybody is going to be there to see that action happening. So we're going to yap a little more.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I got the chance to ring for this team last night, so I do know they are working with some scheduling constraints. I believe it's Ascend is going to have to leave at 6 if they haven't left already. They've kind of been maneuvering their roster around, had a few people maybe slept in a little bit too much. Call that the Brad kind of treatment, I guess, where you sleep in just a little too much. Or the all-win, There's definitely some people who need some sleep, but it's because of this new beta. As you said, it just came out this week. Everybody's been up super late into the evening, grinding, just playing the game because it's just a fresh breath of life. And honestly, it truly is just kind of different. But in order to kind of continue this yap going, MFG, who do you think is like probably the most impactful hero you could play right now?
So I was talking about this with Jace during our last match, and we were kind of focusing on the support department, and we kind of agreed that even though we haven't seen many teams play her, we think that Mercy is going to be really viable, because we had been thinking that now that there's one less tank in Overwatch 2, it's going to give healers a lot more freedom to choose who they want to play, because it's like you don't have to only pick the big healers. Like, you don't have to heal as much HP anymore. And also, Jace kind of highlighted how with the current good DPS in Overwatch 2, which is looking like Soldier and Genji, Mercy's really good at kind of rotating with them in terms of their ultimate abilities and diving. So, for example, while Genji goes into Blade, Mercy can follow him. And then when Soldier's ready, she could follow him. And then for Valkyrie, obviously, hit both of them at once. But what about you? Who do you think is the most impactful so far?
I mean, I feel like there's not one guaranteed composition yet, right? And so that sort of kind of determines it, but the consistency is going to come again probably from your support line. Mercy is definitely a good shout, especially now that they fixed Valkyrie. It did have a bug there for a couple of for a couple of days where it wasn't working properly. But I'm going to look at the other main support actually and say Lucio. Just the value that a Lucio can get, especially if it's an aggressive Lucio that knows how to use those mechanics well, be able to get in and potentially be a damage dealer in and of yourself. You know, whenever we talk about damage dealer supports, we always think of Zenyatta being kind of that frontline damage dealer, but Lucio's really had to pick up the slack coming into Overwatch 2, just with his own little bit of damage, his boop kills, as well as just the engage that speed provides.
Exactly, and we're going to be able to see Lucio's playstyle come to fruition on New Queen Street, which is going to be our first map, and also the newest map for Overwatch 2. We got that push game mode.
Absolutely, push. Changing the game forever and always now. 2CP is a thing of the past, and instead you kind of had to focus on this robot, right? Meat's down in the middle, you want to push it as far as you can. If you get it about halfway to your end goal, you get those forward spawns to give yourself a better position on the offense. But this is truly a game mode that can come down to a matter of meters, you know, both teams going back and forth, and we're seeing some interesting comps here, MFG.
Lots of differences. We see on Hot Choccy they're running the Sojourn, new hero to Overwatch 2, and the Hog, whereas Team MTD2 is looking kind of more traditional with like the Rhine, Soldier, Lucia that we hit on.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to come down to this Hog play and like landing a hook, guaranteeing a pick. Otherwise, the Hog is not going to have a lot of value. As we're seeing a brawl already occur up on high ground, the Hog going to be a little bit late to the fight. Going to be a hack coming out from Feet Fondler, but unfortunately, the hack goes onto the Hog. The Hog's trying his best to live, and that take a breather with his Moira will let him live, but the Rhine just coming in so aggressively. But the trades are going back and forth. It's now in a 3v3 on the point, as the DPS on the side of Hot Choccy have managed to clean up too. But we're still brawling back and forth. Ooh, and the boop kill, Dog Waggler off the map. You hate to see it. And now with another fall, it's just kind of this back and forth brawl. The robot hasn't moved at all.
And it looks like Hot Choccy 2 is going to be the ones to come out on top of this brawl. It did take quite a little bit of time, so I'm not sure if that is going to come back and haunt them later. But Hot Choccy's put themselves in a moderately good position. They're pretty close to some of their ultimates, notably the Visor and the Coalescent. Team MTD2, they're also coming up on some ultimates. We see Rain almost with that Shatter, as well as Chicken Nugget God in the Visor. So Hot Choccy now is going to want to try to keep up the aggression to make sure the robot has enough space to move.
Yes, indeed, but the aggression is going to be coming out from Team MTD as they speed their Rhine in. Rain has the Shatter online. The Hog is already down at the hands of the Sombra, and they don't even need to invest ultimates. They're winning this fight just off pure mechanics. Rocky here trying to turn something on the high ground. Gets a pick on the Ana, but oh, actually, look at this little flank, potentially just causing more distraction on the backline.
That was a really clean push there from Team MTD2 because, like you said, it was pure mechanics. I didn't see any ultimates need to be committed, and now look at what they've put themselves in. Their ultimates are almost totally online for them. Hot Choccy, though, does have the potential to come back here, but it looks like it is going to be Chicken Nugget God popping the ultimate first.
Yes, indeed, and the Visor takes out 2. Chicken Nugget God on this flank is absolutely insane, and it's going to give MTD just more and more space to push. The Moira falls, and this fight is over before it can really start. MTD, I mean, they only had to invest 1 ult, and they're going to have so many more impactful ults to continue this robot push, and they're about to get the forward spawns.
Looking good for them right now. All of these win conditions coming to fruition. Hot Choccy 2, I don't know if it's their comp or what, but Rocky Ducky does find the Soldier battle victorious. And the Shatter and the EMP and the Beat, though, coming out for Team MTD.
Yes, indeed, the EMP, and they use the Beat to keep everybody nice and healthy. Bunny's going to be the first one to fall on the side of Hot Choccy, so now it's going to be on Chip to keep everyone alive, but too soon. Unfortunately, the caster curse is real in Overwatch 2. It never left. And with that late swap onto the Zarya, you know, you're not building energy, you're not building ult, and so now we're seeing Gala have to go over to the Reinhardt themselves, but MTD, they still have this nano boost online, they can apply it and just super aggress in.
Hot Choccy 2, if you're them, you're probably thinking that you put yourself in an advantage just because you kind of forced Team MTD to use all their ultimates, and now with Dawes using the nano, everything is gone. Bunny now popping out the Coalescence, though, trying to make sure that Hot Choccy can get the advantage that they wanted. But despite that, it looks like Team MTD's rotation allowed them to avoid the blunt of that attack.
Yes, indeed, these speed boosts just kind of did exactly what it needed to from Chip, but now heading to this final fight, I mean, what ults are going to be the impactful ones here?
Choccy, they have the beat in order to protect themselves coming in here, because they're going to have to go all in, because like you said, they're getting close there to that final push territory. So Team MTD2 is going to have to be careful here.
Yes, and it seems like they've already been entrenched, the flank coming from all sides, and MTD just falls by the wayside. But, you know, they didn't invest a whole heck of a lot. They should be able to kind of at least get a full set of forward spawns here before the robot moves back to their side of the map.
Now it's going to be up to Choccy too to try to push this robot here, because in the previous battles, they've kind of been short there by Team MTD2 just because of the way that they've been able to get those picks really quickly. But now we can see the aggression already coming in from them, doing exactly like I said before, wanting to make sure that Choccy doesn't get any other additional distance, because they feel really confident in the comp they're running.
Yes, indeed, and Chicken Nugget God started off with a beautiful soldier pick, and then Rain dropping the Shatter, letting it be known MTD is MTD for a reason. And the Shatter rings out, and so now again, back onto the side of the map with only 3 minutes to go. We've burnt through quite a bit of time here. Choccy needs to respond.
I like how the robot moves, because I kind of noticed that in the sense where it's fast enough so it's not like they could get caught out just by the robot walking. But then when it gets to the objective, it starts to properly slow down. I think that was a good design on the developer's part.
Yes, indeed, as well as a fair design coming out from that EMP Visor combo. It manages to take down the Lucio, and now the Rhine battle once again won by Rain, and the Care going on to defeat Vondler to keep that Sombra up in the fight. And everybody's just caught behind. It's such a stagger fight from Choccy. Dogwaggler going down super late. It's going to be a questionable recontest here, as Chicken just on the flank hunting down the Moira. Ends up trying to pay for it, and now the Visor coming out from Rocky Ducky needs to come up huge here. But with the beat coming out from Person, I don't know if it's enough. But combined with the Cole from Bunny actually is enough to kill Person, take him out of the fight. And that's a Lucio down. Chicken Nugget is falling, and Choccy, they are not done yet. They finally get control of this bot, and will push it back.
Waggler's ultimate here is going to be very crucial, because we are coming into the 2-minute mark. Still some time, good enough for them to push this robot. But also Team MTD is kind of thinking, oh, if we kind of stop them here really quickly, and if we push the robot, even if we don't push it a lot, then they're barely going to have enough time to push it again if they win the fight. So Team MTD2 is going to want to clean this up fast.
Yes, indeed, but they're not going to have that option when Dongwaggler drops the EMP, and Galahad just continues to swing on that Reinhardt. The damage that tanks put out is obscene in this game, and it's just a beautiful push from Choccy to continue this bot.
And Bunny's almost up to another coalescence. We kind of touched on this last cast too, where we were saying that Moira had some really good ult potential here, because not only is the character able to build that ultimate quickly, as was the case in Overwatch 1, but something different in Overwatch 2 is that she's able to do more damage without being as costly, again, because there's only one tank to heal.
Yes, indeed, that fight starts going poorly, but Rain turns it around single-handedly. You know, you lose your Sombra first, Rain takes matters into his own hands. Absolutely freaking ridiculous to see a Reinhardt just go in like that. And again, it's just the speed boost engage seeming perfectly in sync here for MTD, as now with less than 40 seconds on the clock, Choccy's going to need a good fight back here, because they still have over 60 meters to push.
Speaking of, like I said, there's one less tank. The tank is also all the more crucial, because we just saw how Rain, the tank, was able to turn that fight completely around, but it looks like Choccy's turning the fight around yet again.
Yes, indeed, it's going to be a quick over and done fight here, just kind of chaos ensuing on the point, and Chip somehow finding the pick on the counter Lucio, opening that one up. I'm telling you, these Lucios are absolutely crazy when they need to be, as a pause is called.
10 seconds left there. It's going to be really important for Choccy to continue winning the fights, because if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be putting them in overtime. So if MTD is able to defeat them where they are, then they win, unless Choccy is able to, of course, push the robot farther or complete the push. So it's going to be interesting to see after this pause ends what will happen on the battlefield.
Yes, indeed, and the pause, oh, look at that, it's already over. I guess it was just a kind of a little quick tech thing, but yeah, as we're heading into overtime now, Choccy, it's kind of all on them to continue this push, keep it alive. Gala potentially going to have to come up big with the shatter, but the EMP is even bigger from Faith Fondlers combined with the visor. Chicken Nugget God kills what he needs to, and then Rain just swinging on the other Rhine. It's all over. It's all done in the blink of an eye. It's just the Sombra touching, but Dongwaggler has no health. And just like that, MTD takes map 1. Oh, and the tactical crouching Chicken. You know, honestly, after all the years of BPL, I think Chicken deserves a tactical croucher too. I think he's earned it.
TD2 has had their fair share of coming up short, but definitely not right now. That was a great last fight there. That beautiful full team EMP. Now I feel like we're going to have to start seeing more of those in Overwatch 2 because there is that one less person. But it's still impactful nonetheless, because it's not every day that even in Overwatch 1 you see 5-man EMPs. Like, we celebrate that, and now we celebrate it tenfold because it's a whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a whole team, and it's very weird because it does change. It's changed a lot from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, right? Simply because of the changes to EMP. Now, instead of hacking everybody for 8 seconds, making it so there's no cooldowns that can be used or anything like that, you're simply just dealing straight damage if you're the Sombra player. So it's absolutely massive, as well as the perfect timing. You know, every single time we saw EMP come out for MTD, Chicken had the visor online ready to go, and it just rips through anything that wants to try to live through it. So if you're Hot Choccy, your back's against the wall and you got to figure out a way to counter these combos. Otherwise, you're looking at the elimination going to this next map.
No team wants that, but it's going to be important to see how they're going to be able to adapt, because like I said earlier, the compositions in the meta, if you will, are still being figured out for Overwatch 2, but we can still nonetheless kind of get a sense of which characters are good. Like, for example, Lucio had a lot of impacts on both sides, Sombra definitely as well. So it's interesting to see how Hot Choccy is going to respond, because they kind of have to figure out, like, A, what heroes are good right now in Overwatch 2, B, which good heroes are best at defeating the Sombra. But if you're on the side of Team MTD, and if you see Hot Choccy try to do that, then you're going to have to go back into your arsenal and be like, okay, looks like they're going to try to combat our Sombra. Let's see what other heroes we can play to keep having the advantage.
Yeah, also kind of just looking at that from an objective standpoint, right? The MTD composition, you know, its downside is that it's heavily grouped, but there's generally somebody that likes to go on the flank, you know, whether it be Chicken on the Soldier 76 looking for some impact that way, or the Sombra. You know, there's always going to be that one person split off, and potentially, you know, you might need to run some dive stuff. We've seen Doomfist be a powerful tank with the introduction of Overwatch 2. Maybe you just kind of all-in aggress, surround the enemy team before they can surround you, but I wonder if they'll be able to surround them here on Oasis, which seems to be the map pick.
Oh, and it's at night. I talked about the weather variations slightly because on Eichenwalde it was sunset, but I like this nighttime vibe. It's giving new, it's giving fresh, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly was a really good way for the Overwatch dev team to kind of revamp some of these old maps without changing them entirely, right? Like, it at least kind of gives you a different impression of the map, you know? Especially Oasis here at nighttime, as well as the music. If we could just, for a moment, like the remix on this.
Love it.
Absolutely love it, but it seems like these are some dive comps, MFG.
And that's interesting, the way that it's being curated now, because looks like the dive tanks, if you will, I'm putting that in air quotes, are now looking to be Doomfist and Winston instead of Diva and Winston. Because every other player is curated towards, like, that divey style, like you mentioned. But there's the Mercy, Hot Choccy.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of why you see the value of Doomfist, able to punch Rain in. The Winston falls early, and so now with blood in the water, Hot Choccy is pushing forward, especially with the Spara in the skies. As long as the soldier's pressured, it can't shoot at it. And now both supports falling later and later in the fight. And pretty much any picks that continue happening here is just better for Hot Choccy, because they should be getting more point percentage for it. But seems like there's a Sombra that doesn't want to leave.
Choccy's composition is really good right now for holding that point percentage, because you kind of have defense on all angles. The Pharmacy, of course, but then the Doomfist able to be super mobile as well. And in terms of Rain on that Winston looking to be that dive character, there's not too much room for that character to thrive just because of that big intersection right there on the top. So if you're the monkey, you don't really have too much to jump to.
I mean, not only do you have nowhere to jump to, you have nobody to jump on. Everybody on Hot Choccy's composition likes to move, likes to run around. Nobody you can really pin down is Winston, but Feet Fondler does get the first pick on the Mercy. That means Farah's going to have to be scared for her life here with no real healer to keep her alive. Seems like the air battle's what we're watching here, but unfortunately the Echo has the advantage every single time on that one. The sleep actually goes onto Rocky. The soldier just falls over, and just like that, with a crucial sleep dart and a good pick from the Echo, Team MTD have turned this one around.
Echo still continues to be a good character. We saw like Feet Fondler taking care of the Mercy, doing what they're supposed to in terms of focus fire, and Team MTD2 has been able to set up on point now. So the important part for them is being able to maintain this setup and making sure they don't get caught in any traps that Hot Choccy might want to lay, like trying to lure them out into the open.
And that's just a brutal pick. I mean, Feet Fondler just comes in, knows the Moira has no fade, just absolutely rips the Moira out, but the res will come through. That's later rather than sooner, potentially, but it's going to be this Sky battle once again, as we're seeing Farah go in, able to pick off the Ana as well as the Echo falling in the background. The Visor actually coming out from Chicken after his team has fallen. I don't know what sort of hero play this is, but it seems like it was a waste, as he's just going to get hunted down here. He did get a pick on the other soldier, but it seems like it was all for naught, as Chicken actually escapes with his life.
That's going to be really beneficial, because I was also going to say, even if Chicken did pop the Visor, there are other ultimates coming online for Team MTD2, but now that they don't have to wait for that stagger, that's going to be able to allow them to use those ultimates quicker than Hot Choccy may have wanted them to. And it looks like now Dong Waggler is going to want to try to pick off the support backline, does so, taking out Dawes.
Yes, indeed. It's the trade back and forth, the Ana for the Farah, and now the Visor's being popped on the other side. Rocky's going to try to come up big here, but he's pressured down by the Winston. The Helix Rockets from Chicken do their job, and Chicken now trying to pressure down the Valk. Unfortunately, not able to do it. That Mercy's just too slippery. MTD still in control of the point as Rain's using Primal just to try to create some more space. Chicken running for his life once again from the Doom Fist, but the Doom is back on point, and now we're seeing the Echo forced to use Duplicate here, copy the Moira, potentially build a quick Coalescence, but the dupe is burned. Feet Fondler is managing to kill onto the other Mercy, but it's just, again, this back and forth point kind of brawl is just going in favor of MTD right now, and I don't really see what's doing it besides kind of this potential soldier differential.
I think that Galahad kind of needed to back out there, because I feel like the Doomfist was on that point a little bit too long, and had they done what Chicken did and escape with their life, then it could have been easier here for Hot Choccy to come in, because now it's final fight territory, and MTD2 is really close to taking this all. We're literally at 99%.
Yes, indeed, and the Echo does fall, but on the other side of it, both supports have already fallen for Hot Choccy. The Visor out for Chicken, but Dong Waggler manages to kill it. It's going to be on the Echo here, pretty much single-handedly. As I say that, the Echo falls. It's now on Rocky, just running around with a Winston in his face. Nothing you can really do. Just keep running, keep touching, keep praying that somebody else can get back in time, and the Lucio does manage to do it with the swap, but up in the sky, the Echo's here. Rain is able to get the final blow onto Rocky Ducky. It's just back and forth. The healers are here healing each other for Hot Choccy. This might be some good respawns if you can get your Doomfist back in with the Meteor Strike potentially. Don Waggler does manage to kill Ana on the other side of it. Absolutely impeccable, important pick, as we're seeing just a full-on brawl here on the point. The Brig pushed up a little too far, could be potential to pick by the Doomfist, and we're seeing the Brig 1 HP just finish her off. There we go, Bunny manages to do it on the Moira. The Doom is low, make sure you carry him. He's using that blocked in order to absorb more damage, keep himself alive, but it's just this back and forth brawl. But in the end, the stall swaps worked. Hot Choccy is alive in this round.
That was an impressive fight. They really kept it going, and now they are going to be the ones to try to make sure that Team MTD2 does not fulfill their 99 to 100. Team MTD, though, on their side, trying to make some last-minute adjustments. We see Feet Fondler now trying to go on the Genji. Obviously, I don't think their plan is to get Blade in about 8 seconds, but we'll see what kind of pickoffs they aim to do, possibly maybe wanting to target that Echo in the sky with the dash.
Oh, but Chicken's been caught on the off angle, and that's what you hate to see. The soldier finally punished for it, and Don Waggler's just been a menace on this Echo, doing everything needed. The Genji's one, catches Helix Rockets. The soldier on the other side finally coming alive. Rocky Ducky with the Visor now just simply beaming everything in his path. Only thing alive is Rain on the Winston, and the Winston can't last long when there's 4 things shooting at it. Dong Waggler gets the final blows, and Hot Choccy takes round 1.
It really came together there in the end. Like, they were able to catch the players of Team MTD on those off angles you mentioned, and that just shows, like, adaptability of the team, making sure that they've heightened their senses of focus fire and getting what needs to be done in order to stay alive, even with if it means stall swaps, again, you mentioned. So now going into the second part of Oasis, doesn't look like Hot Choccy is going to be changing much from their original composition. Team MTD2, though, not much either. It does look like Feet Fondler is going to want to start on the Cassidy.
Yes, indeed. And I still, like, I don't really question Rain all too much if we're rocking the Winston instead of the Doomfist. Potentially just a comfort pick. Haven't had the most time to learn the new Doomfist, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see because I feel like Doomfist just has the better engages, but MTD going to be taking this high ground aggressively with the Genji. Oh, and the perfect anti followed up by the dash. Freaking Feet Follower just goes in, and now the rest of MTD is there dealing the damage that they must. The Moira goes down, and it's only one person left, but that one person's not going to be enough to stall at this point, and it's going to be the first cap going to MTD.
Beautiful combos there, and that's exactly what you want to do to make the most out of your team composition, because it is smaller, so it's going to be all the more important in order to capitalize on those kinds of combos to deal more damage.
Yes, indeed. We saw that little peek up going from Gala. Just saw everybody was up there. I was like, no, thank you. I don't want to die. And now the engage is coming out now that the anti is in. Rocky Ducky super, super low, but manages to live. Now the Winston on the other side is actually really, really low, but the sleep onto the Doom. That's exactly what you love to see. You trade your Winston for your Soldier. Now it's going to be on Feet Fondler, potentially trying to look for some more picks on this Genji. Nobody really low, though, on the side of Hot Choccy to take advantage of. As I say that, though, another trade comes through. Your tank for a support, potentially a good trade. Dong Waggler looking to finish off this hack target of the Soldier, but it's not going to be enough. But the follow-up from the team, it just trades back and forth, and this always will favor MTD because they'll just get the respawns back. And since they're in control of the point, you're okay with respawning. You're okay with staggering out because it's just more and more point percentage. And it looks like Hot Choccy's going to have to reset here.
Dong Waggler getting out right as you say that. What a perfect segue. Chicken Nugget, though, releasing the visor to make sure that Dong Waggler cannot escape with their life. Rocky Ducky does find Rain, but Feet Fondler finds the Lucio, and Chicken Nugget God wins the Soldier battle. Things still looking good for Team MTD2, but it doesn't look like Hot Choccy's giving up yet.
No, they're not. It's going to be the Moira trying to cull through everything, and somehow Hot Choccy manages to cap because the members of MTD, the Genji and the Brig, just tried to chase the Moira off. The Moira's still alive. The Brig now looking to be low. Oh, but the trade again. Your Doomfist going down at the cost of your supports. What could it mean? And Feet Fondler just slashing at the Genji as the Genji just walks away through the wall rides. You hate to see it. And it seems like MTD is going to finally reset here.
You do not want to have that happen if you're MTD, because that cap was literally just like you said, they were chasing, and it's almost as if they fell for a trap there, because now it's going to be hard for them because Hot Choccy is now established a point presence. They have ultimates to defend. They're in a different position than they were before, so Team MTD2 is going to have to take those factors into account when they do this push.
Yeah, absolutely. And the engage already coming out from Galahad. Chicken Nugget God cannot flank anymore. The flanks are protected. It's going to be the Meteor Strike onto the Ana now. It's going to be the pick. The Visor coming in clutch perfectly. You know, 2 ultimates equals a 1 fight there for you. Already ticking above 50%. Beautiful Visor from Rocky Ducky. Beautiful engage. And Hot Choccy keep going.
That was a great way to close out that fight, getting all of that cleanup damage. We saw the Meteor Strike coming out there too from Doomfist. Didn't get any direct kills, but again was able to do enough damage for the rest of the members of Team Hot Choccy to be successful. And speaking of success for Team MTD2, they have the Brig ult and the Monkey ult, both of which are going to be popped soon. Briggs, though, gets hacked, but it looks like it's still going to be going off, and Team MTD2 does actually find a kill.
Yes, indeed. When you hack Visor, it just keeps going. We just saw what happened. You know, the rally armor applied to everybody. Rain went in with the primal as well. But the hack on the Chicken Nugget God, I don't think it's going to be followed up here as MTD managed to flip it. But Hot Choccy are just in 1 fight territory now.
They have the opportunity to win because of the two support alts that are almost online for them, because that means anything offensively that Team MTD wants to throw, they have that kind of safety net to rely on in order for their own DPS and tank to garner their ultimates as well. Looks like Dongwaggler is going to want to try to get something going soon, but Team MTD2 is pretty aggressive.
Yes, indeed. Anti coming out there onto Rocky Ducky, and they have to use the beat extremely early. They need to aggress with this. They need to get a pick, but it doesn't seem like anything came of it. Now they stalled it out too long. The blade pull comes out from Feet Fondler. The Reaper is already down, as well as the Lucio finally falling, and he can't get away this time. Bunny manages to kill the Genji, but not before losing their own life at the hands of the soldier. Chicken Nugget God, somebody must stop this soldier menace. As we're seeing the dive, the cleanup come through, and MTD takes back that round, and we're heading to round 3.
That was a great comeback for the side of MTD because they were kind of able to modify their aggression in a sense where they're not going to get picked. They had a little bit of slip-ups there, most notably the one we talked about where Hot Choccy was able to cap initially. But I feel like towards definitely the end there, they kind of solidified themselves in their play strategy. So going into the final part of Oasis here, 1-1, both teams are going to want to try to perfect their play styles in order to be able to either win it all or stay alive.
Yes, indeed. It is going to come down to it, and we're seeing MTD pivot back to something they're definitely comfortable on, this Brawl composition. Brawl has always been good on this third point of Oasis, but it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this goes here. Now both teams coming into the point, looking potentially for an engage with this Doom from Hot Chalky, but they also have the Pharah in the sky that's just forcing MTD back. You have to respect this Pharah, as a pause is being called on the side of Hot Chalky.
Speaking of Hot Chalky, I'm going to say they're actually going to something that they're kind of used to as well, because we saw that kind of Pharmacy look from them earlier on. And it wasn't terrible. It actually kind of allowed them to win several fights, even if they didn't win the map in its entirety. So that kind of tells me, especially since this last part of Oasis has like those boot points and more open areas, that they're going to want to stick to this composition.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely some comfort picks for them here, as that's kind of the name of the game right now. When you're this new into a game, like, sure, you could argue you could find the meta or you can do this, but at the end of the day, if you could just play what you're really comfortable on and make it work for yourself, find out ways to make it work, then at the end of the day, you're going to do a lot better on that, I always believe. As, yeah, we're seeing this kind of back and forth. I'm just going to potentially do some leaking here. I don't know if this is the reason for the pause, but there's being questions asked in the Hot Chalky Discord about why there's a ringer being played that apparently might be too high SR. I don't really know if that's the reason, but that's what is currently happening in the Hot Chalky Discord.
Interesting. Well, while they continue to sort potential issues out, we can do our patented MFG tangent. So as we know, the Overwatch 2 beta, new map, new Queen Street, Canada. I noticed when they were playing, they had a building where they're advertising poutine. So Megalos, my question to you is, have you ever had poutine before?
The easy answer to that is no. I am what they refer to as both broke and violently white. So I've never had anything that wasn't made in a McDonald's, pretty much.
Fun fact, did you know that the McDonald's in Canada actually sells poutine?
I did not know that. That is a fun fact that I do now know.
I kind of tried poutine. There's this restaurant that made their own spin on it. It wasn't traditional, but it was pretty good. It was like the gravy, the cheese curds. They also added some meat to it. It was nice. For those of you who don't know what poutine is, it's basically French fries with gravy and cheese curds. It's like popular in Canada, and it's very, very tasty.
I mean, I feel like the best thing that people in America would probably compare that to is, what's it called at, like, In-N-Out over in California? I believe it's Animal Style or whatever. Yeah. I feel like that would be the closest thing to something like that, but
I've actually never had animal fries in my life.
You've never had Animal Style?
I've been to the West Coast several times, but I've never been to an In-N-Out.
I mean, I was gonna say, I remember the one time I went out there. I've never really been a big fan of burgers, but it was just one of those things where you were in California, so people told you to try In and Out. I had it. I hate to disappoint Californians. It really wasn't like it wasn't bad by any means, just not really my thing. You know what I mean?
Well, let the record be stated that coming up soon, I am going to be going back to the West Coast, so I will take a picture of myself for BPL eating poutine from, or not poutine, eating animal fries from In and Out. So
I was gonna say, since you've had
BPL
poutine, you'll actually be able to compare the two and see if they're actually comparable.
That is true. I think that they will be in terms of like the general taste, where it's obviously fries with sauce and toppings. But I know that like their famous animal sauce, and then I think any good traditional Canadian poutine gravy probably has a lot of flavor. So I'm excited to compare and contrast.
Yes, indeed. It's always fun to compare and contrast, especially when you have two different games, right? We had Overwatch 1 and now we can compare and contrast it to Overwatch 2. Um, don't really know where I'm going with this segue, but I'm kind of just rambling right now, so we're just gonna roll with it. Sojourn, pretty cool character, has a little bit of a slow nade. Um, that nice little skill shot on the right click, but everybody's saying that you need to bind it to your left click and switch them. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Actually do that. It's funny because I'll tell you the MFG lore story as to why I do that. So I started playing Overwatch way back when in 2018 on console, and for whatever reason in the world, my sister, who had been playing Overwatch on that console before me, had swapped the controls, like the left stick was the right stick and vice versa. So that's the way that I became comfortable with. So then when I switched to PC, I was like, wait a minute, what's wrong with all these controls? And then I realized the issue, so I switched it. But it looks like we might go to a quick break just to make sure that everything in this pause is smoothed out for you. So we will be right back. All right, we are back in action. We just had a little bit of ringer issues, and we see the sub where for Team MTD2, it's going to be Fanta now coming into play. And it says 0-0, but it's still the same score as before the pause. This is going to be the final map of Oasis to determine whether Team MTD wins or if Team Hot Choccy is able to stay alive for a map 3.
Yes, indeed, and we got everything sorted and taken care of. We have Fanta in now on the DPS, and even though we saw these teams roll out before, they're looking to run out on similar compositions, although I was going to say, do we see Dongwaggler go back over to the Pharah? And we do see it. It's probably going to be, yep, the same exact compositions, except Fanta's going to be on the Cassidy here instead of the Mei. Potentially could be your one difference maker, as Hot Choccy's just looking to engage, deal some good damage with these Pharah rockets, and follow it up with the Rocky Ducky Tracer. And we're just seeing kind of this poke.
Yeah, I was going to say I like the Tracer pick because it kind of allows Hot Choccy to attack in many different ways, because obviously the Pharmacy is going to be the front and center that Team MTD is going to be focusing on, but at the same time we see Rocky Ducky as the Tracer is going to be able to take out that back line without having too much to worry about in terms of being attacked, and that's going to allow Hot Choccy right now to be really good at taking point.
Yes, indeed, and they secure the point with ease here. Just kind of this Pharah raining damage down above, already built the barrage, but it seems like Rocky Ducky's gonna fall at the very end here to the Cassidy shots from Fanta, and this could be an opening for MTD to push.
And here they will try. We see that the ultimate on the board, it's going to be in the favor of Hot Choccy, but Team MTD does have the ability to make that push if Fanta continues to hit those shots. But ooh, look at that! Both the Lucio and the Ryan are off the map.
Yes, indeed. Fanta hits the shots and is probably called out like, hey guys, I got the Pharah. But unfortunately, Gala on this Doomfist finally, doing some powerful stuff. Getting both off with the supercharged punch. And now just seeing a slow retreat from Hot Choccy.
Looks like they are still being able to hold strong despite those two members being off the map. And I'm talking about Team MTD here because they were able to kind of back out and regroup. But Hot Choccy is just responding with this unprecedented aggression that they really weren't expecting.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And they also invested 3 ults on the side of Hot Choccy. That's the one gripe I might have about that fight. But she took the fight rather well. And now going into this next fight, it's going to be just, again, making sure Dongwaggler doesn't get poked out.
Oz has that nano boost to use in the DPS, are also very close to their ultimates. Hot Choccy too, though, final fight territory, so they're gonna want to make sure they clean this up quickly. Chicken Nugget God, though, getting the visor as well as the first picks of the fight could spell doom here for Hot Choccy.
Yes, indeed, we're seeing this fight go back and forth, but I don't know how much longer. It's just the Pharmacy left on point, trying to contest everything, and they fall at the very end. They're gonna get to 94%, which means they're in that one fight territory. So MTD, you have an uphill battle now to try to win constantly.
They're gonna really want to make sure they do that here because obviously they're not really gonna have enough time to reset if they do get picked off. But look here, Rocky Ducky on the Tracer wanting to go around and do that flank that we had said that Tracer is gonna be really beneficial at doing for them. And now looking at all these ultimates being thrown out, trades coming in left and right.
Yes, indeed, the Sleep Dart going onto the Doomfist is absolutely massive there because if that punch goes through, the Rhine can't follow up on the Shatter, and now we're seeing just a brawl in this little black room. Rocky Ducky's going to get the best of Fanta in the very end, and Barrage is again built online here, but Dongwaggler not investing it just yet, wanting to wait for the whole team to be there. Very smart, very cautious Pharah play, as continually we're just seeing these rockets go in. Doomfist now engaging onto the Rhine. The Rhine's cut off from quite a bit of the rest of his team. You trade your Rhine, or your Doomfist I should say, for your Lucio, and now you're looking for that Barrage. The Soldier's 1 HP, the Honor's trying to get the shots on there, and in the middle of all of this chaos, MTD loses the point. Hot Choccy now getting a huge stick onto Fanta, but the Fanta trades it back. Both of those DPS are going down, and it seems like when the dust is cleared, the chaotic fight is just not over yet, because the Doom is coming back in, trying to contest this Ryan and Lucio by himself. Absolutely maddening. The Lucio finally the Doomfist finally falls, I should say, and now it's going to be another poke fight.
That was a really important fight for Team NTD to win because obviously if it had gone past 99, we would have been continuing our match. But also, it kind of put them in a better position than when they started because now their ult economy is going to be looking better for the duration of the next fight, because Hot Choccy too, after they use that barrage and the Doomfist Meteor Strike, they're not really left with anything else, and already the barrage is happening.
Yes, indeed, the barrage catches 2, and it catches the 2 you need to. Fanta not able to find anything with that Deadeye. Now we're seeing the cast fall down. It's only the soldier left on point here, and can't live too much when the Pharah is just right above your head. The point's gonna flip. The overtime wick is gonna burn, and I believe we're going to map 3.
Yes, we are. Chicken Nugget God, though, already seeing GG. It ain't over yet. We still have another map to go. Score now being 1-1. I really want to commend Choccy for sticking to this composition, because like I noted earlier, it was something they showed in the beginning and then they kind of strayed away from, but I think that this map really catered well to it, and they knew that, and they were confident in their ability to run it and to succeed.
Yes, indeed, as there's some confusion in the in-game chat, but yeah, no, the series stands 1-1 right now, with MTD being able to pick our next map. So just to clarify that, because there was a little bit of confusion. But yeah, like you said, standing their ground on this Pharah composition, even when MTD really kind of had a big advantage, right? They knew full well that they were going to run out on a Pharah due to our kind of little mishap there where we had to pause and restart the map. But even then, you know, there just was too much damage coming out from the Pharah, as well as the Doomfist making space on the ground. It just truly was overwhelming. So if you're MTD, you kind of have to regroup, collect your thoughts, and think about the best way to approach this, because double hit scan seems like it's the answer, but it just leaves the Doomfist too free on the ground.
There needs to be that ability to balance out your composition, because so it is hard for some teams to do. Granted, like if both your DPS play hit scan, but one is like both of them are not able to single-handedly take care of the Pharah, then you gotta have that double hit scan to have that security if that character is the biggest threat for you. But it is also really important to balance, just because of what you said. Like, you gotta make sure the high and low ground are being protected at all times.
Absolutely, it's always the low ground back and forth, as well as the high ground. And you know, I guess that's another advantage that MTD is going to have here. You know, you saw how powerful that Pharah comp is. You get final map pick. You can just take them to a map that would be terrible for Pharah. Granted, considering this beta, what we know, nothing really comes to mind besides maybe Circuit Royale. Simply because that map does have a lot of high rooftops and stuff, so it kind of pins the Pharah in at the very least, and then once you get a third point, you have a physical roof, so she can't fly around and do as she pleases. But other than that, I can't really think of a good advantage you could have in terms of a map pick.
Oh, there's the good old King's Row again. You can't escape it. It's always going to be there, whether you're on Overwatch 1 or 2.
You can't, you know, honestly, I don't know why like a team with a Reinhardt as their icon. Why did I not just say they're going to King's Row already? Like, I feel like that was foreseeable, predictable, some could argue. But yeah, we're going to King's Row. I've said it several times on broadcast. I dislike King's Row. I'm tired of this map. Even with the sunlight, I don't care. I wish to see not King's Row. We've seen this map for like 7 years now. But hey,
I was
we're here.
literally about to say, like, what about with the sunlight? But you have expressed your opinions clear, but it looks like Team MTD is going to be throwing your opinions to the wind, because they are the ones who chose this map. Looking pretty basic as to what you would expect. Of course, we have that signature Reinhardt, most likely going to be run by both sides. We see Hot Choccy already committed to their composition.
Yes, indeed. And it's interesting, if we think back to that first push map, you know, Rain really was dominating that tank mirror, because we did have that Rhine mirror for at least parts of push before there was, I believe, a swap onto Zarya. So Rain potentially could be the playmaker here again on King's Row, where Rhines thrive, but it's going to be very interesting to see, you know.
It's entirely possible, because we saw that happen on the push map, where Rain was able to make that really good play and turn the fight around just by being a tank. But now already, this is a really aggressive push here, an attempt to split them off, though.
Yes, indeed, and Rain already making the impact felt. Trades themselves for Lucio, absolutely insane, but Rocky Ducky absolutely hitting some insane shots right now on this Cassidy. Takes down the Lucio, takes down Dawes. Dawnwagler actually getting the final pick on that one. And just like that, 30 seconds have gone by, and Hot Choccy didn't get blown away despite losing Lucio first.
composition is really good for holding here because you have that A wall, of course, and then you also, you also have the Baptiste to apply both like the ability to run into them once they are walled in, but also to protect them pretty well. But it looks like Fanta's gonna find the first pick and the second, both DPS now for Hot Choccy out of the picture.
Yes, indeed. And the Rhine pinning in, the lamp already broken. Gala trying to live as long as possible, but when Rain wants you dead, it's just kind of what happens. It's not really an option anymore. As we're seeing, this point is going to get capped here for MTD. I doubt there will be a recontest onto point here. It's going to be on Hot Choccy to hold the choke.
I think that MTD are confident in that they know what they're doing because they did pick this map, and although the first push did seem kind of iffy, look at how aggressive they are right now. Nobody is on the payload, and perhaps I may have forgotten it's 5v5 and that not everyone can go up. But that shatter, though, landed there by Rain. Got a lot, but no one was able to capitalize because Hot Choccy laid down one of their own. You hate to have that happen because I saw so many people fell, but nobody died.
Yes, indeed. The only people that died came after both shatters had gone. Bunny on the Baptiste, reminding us that that character is still a damage dealer. As we're getting into this next fight here, the soldier taking the high ground. Chicken Nugget God loves to be on this flank, and Fanta through the shield manages to snipe Rocky Ducky on the cast. Now having to use the May wall super early just to try to cut the Rhine off, but the dragons won't have it. There's too much damage coming out, and now the amplification matrix coming out on the side of MTD as well, but they're not finding the pick. And Gala in your backline uses a fire strike to kill not one but two. Chip taking down Chicken Nugget God on that flank on the high ground. You pay Bunny for it, but you win that fight resoundingly. And Hot Choccy holds without investing any ults.
Perhaps the Hot Choccy's rotations there, because literally, as you mentioned, that it wasn't because they won the fight with ults. It's because they won the fight by smart positioning, because they were able to kind of avoid the brunt of the damage from what Team MTD threw out, but at the same time being able to attack at their most vulnerable points, which is after they've released all that power. So now the beat coming in for Hot Choccy, it's their turn to use all their ultimates now, as Team MTD is going to want to try to do one last aggressive push for now.
Ooh, Fanta actually getting a late kill onto Bunny there again could be massive going into the next fight. As somebody stop Fanta. Nah, I refuse. Please. Oh my goodness, it's just going to be the quick re-engage here from MTD. When your Hanzo's getting picks like that, you see Rain charging in with the confidence. And just now Gala's gonna fall, and that somehow is a fight that at the very literal tail end of it, Fanta turned.
Fanta may have arrived in this match late, but they are making an impact to make up for that. That is literally what you want to see out of the team like that, because Team MTD, they weren't able to break through Hot Choccy's defense, but then with those last minute kills, catching the DPS when they were a little bit too far out, proved to be so beneficial for them.
Yes, indeed. Now we saw the aggressive speed as well as the window come out from Hot Choccy, and unfortunately the window didn't get a whole heck of a lot. It was kited pretty effectively. Rocky Ducky going down, but it's just kind of this back and forth brawl here. Bunny's gonna find Chicken Nugget God probably on the flank somewhere, and the Rhine has fallen though. Bunny again though on this Baptiste getting pick after pick. I mean, you really can't underestimate the damage this character can put out. Now potentially Rain gonna find a pick onto the May here, does find it in the end. The Lucio just too fast, too furious, gets away, and Rain now wondering where the rest of his team is, all fallen by the wayside of actually Chicken Nugget God's already back.
Like how Team MTD2 didn't do a full retreat there. They kind of went into the alley, and Hot Choccy decided to chase them, and they kind of got punished for it. But now they're going to use their ultimates to try to make sure that Team MTD doesn't move any further, but MTD has the same idea, and they are going to be the ones coming up on top.
Yes, indeed, the beat to make sure everything nice and healthy, the shatter from Rain to lay them all on the ground. It truly was just a perfect execution there, and that's going to be how MTD caps point 2 here, heading into point 3 with 3 minutes in the bank.
Things are looking really good for them right now. They have a lot of awesome win conditions. They have the aggression, they have the ultimates, and Hot Choccy, they of course have ultimates of their own already. That shatter being laid down, and now it's going to be up to them to match the aggression in order to make those plays crucial enough to matter. Looking though as Hot Choccy not really finding too much kills right now. Team MTD2 taking a step back, but Fanta finding Rocky.
Fanta's just a menace on this Hanzo, actually getting pick after pick. It's absolutely ridiculous as Dawes is now going to be laying in damage. The Reinhardt is so low trying to live. The Blizzard being committed after Ryan is down, and the May falls. Potentially this window could be clutch here. Oh, but instead of the clutch window, it's actually the clutch from the soldier on the flank with the visor. Absolutely ridiculous. There was a potential turnaround there for Bunny with the amplification matrix. We've seen Bunny deal insane damage, but Chicken decides, no, I will have that glory today.
Choccy too, without that window, they're gonna have to rely on just sheer PS power because they don't have that extra window, whereas Team MTD2 just popped theirs. Additionally, popping that shatter, not finding anyone from it, but now the return beat from Choccy is gonna want them to charge.
Yes, indeed, and somehow you use both your shatter as well as your amplification matrix, since you're the one falling by the wayside first as Fanta gets another pick. I mean, it truly is crazy the amount of picks we're seeing Hanzo get, but I mean, when your only shield, your only way to deter the damage is a Reinhardt, it forces you to either all play around your Reinhardt and get swung on by Rain, or it allows Fanta to just get free picks. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's a really good strategy that they've come up with, and it's served them well throughout this match. Now Choccy wanting to try to obviously combat that, they're gonna want to try to, like I do, they're saying it, or they're doing it before I can even say it. I was gonna say, match the aggression of Team MTD2, because you know that you can't just kind of play passively because of what you said in terms of them having a lot of options. So it's the only possible way is to catch them off guard. So going into this kind of last fight territory with less than a minute left, if Choccy can keep that up here, they can stop them. But if Team MTD can both combine aggression and those sick plays, then they'll be the victors.
Yes, indeed, and that victory window is what MTD wants. The Dragon's going to be their initiation tool. They're going to be able to use the Dragon just to force them off of the amplification matrix on the other side. Beautifully played. The Ryan pinning just absolutely in the backline. Rain so close to this shatter, but so low on health. Finally falls, but on the other side of it, Bunny has fallen as well. Only Lucio heals for Choccy, but it doesn't matter. Don Wagler's getting picked on the Hanzo. Chip is winning that Lucio duel, I would say single-handedly, but that'd be a lie. That cast, nah, hang on, no. I know the final blow was from Gala with the fire strike, but I just watched that cast nade fly like 50 meters.
Goodness gracious, that is not something you see every day. And now Don Wagler looking to close out the fight with those dragons, but the overtime is going to trickle down. Beat, though, coming out from Chip as the last effort, but it doesn't look like Team MTD2 has any ultimates to try to fight this out.
Yes, indeed, they're running out of momentum here at the very end. The amplification matrix can only do so much. Your Tracer's blinking around unless Fanta can kill 7. The fire strike seals the fate. Gala shattering the card to assert some dominance, and there she goes. A pretty solid push from MTD, but not all the way.
Choccy really kind of solidified themselves there in the defense because it looked like there were some moments of solidification earlier, but of course we know that Team MTD was able to break through those defenses. But like I said, in the end, they were able to kind of reconnect and reestablish themselves. So now going into the flip side, it's going to be up to Team MTD to put up a more solid defense, probably hold more choke points than Choccy did. If not the point itself, maybe the archway that we kind of saw Choccy doing. So that's going to be their number 1 win condition here, because obviously we know if Choccy gets it past that 57-meter mark, then they win.
Yes, indeed, that 57-meter mark, and this is going to be one thing I want us to keep an eye on if they actually run it. Like I said, I had the pleasure to play with Choccy last night, and they have definitely learned some stuff about the new Bastion that they love to run here on King's Row. I'm surprised they will either be switching Don Wagler over to the Symmetra, or this is potentially a new strategy that has been cooked up in the kitchen. But either way, they truly do love to utilize this Bastion, and I can't wait to see it come out.
I have heard about the new Bastion. Admittedly, I have not seen him in action in Overwatch 2, but I have heard some promising things, and it looks like they are going to be sticking to that composition. So I'm very, very eager to see what they have in mind.
I mean, the idea potentially with the strategy is you wall someone and then just cut them off with damage, and you're seeing how much damage Rain is taking from the turret from Bastion, having to back up. The shield's already broken, and it's allowing Gala to be this super aggressive, insane main tank here. They already have such good point presence, and the May wall coming out from Fanta just unfortunately is not what you're looking for, but the wall from Choccy, perfect. Don Wagler has already helped two ticks as we're seeing the soldier run, Chicken Nugget run for their lives. Absolutely insane. As the recontest coming back onto point, the soldier's up on high ground, gets the kill on the bunny. Beautiful. That's how you need to start this fight. You've given up 2 ticks, but it is recontestable now, and the Reinhardt is gonna fall. Gala, unfortunately, just no health once that Baptiste goes away. And after a few cleanup picks here, it's gonna be Team MTD shakily holding it, but holding it nonetheless.
I think that what Hot Choccy had to do there was kind of chase the people that had low. I saw like Gong Waggler kind of tried to kill Chicken with that icicle and then just let him be, and then he ended up killing Bunny. So I think that if Hot Choccy had kind of capitalized and chased Chicken, then they would have had a more successful run there, if not capping the whole point altogether. But going into this now, they have a lot to work with. So does the side of Team MTD2 though. Soldier's still in that high ground position is something that Hot Choccy is going to have to watch out for.
Oh, the shatter from Gala is huge. Absolutely lays everybody on their back. But the visor from Chicken's going to have to come up big here. But unfortunately, it doesn't. The lamp is all that it gets. And now we're just seeing the last members of MTD try to fight this point. As I say that, though, Rain is going to pick onto Bunny. That could be a big one. But the snipe with the fire strike. You love to see it. Dawes is down. The Bunny is rezzed. And Hot Choccy is going to take this point.
I just realized that Reinhardt now has 2 fire strikes on cooldown, and I think that's a really interesting new addition to him because that kind of allows Reinhardt to be more aggressive than he had previously been able to be, because like everyone would always label Reinhardt as like, you know, big shield, tank, hero, protect team, but now he kind of has more of that ability to make plays and combo with the fellow teammates, like for stuns and whatnot.
Yes, indeed, and the first stun is actually going to come on to Fanta, falling to that window fire strike, which is a brutal combo now, as you said, with 2 fire strikes. And it seems like there's just a little bit of stagger from the legs here on the cart. Chicken, I feel like he's just always in the back line, always doing something, and it's funny to see where the soldier's going to end up this time.
I like the way that soldier is being played because Chicken is making it work. We saw, obviously, when he killed Bunny, and then we kind of saw now he was contesting the cart. But I don't think a lot of people are expecting him to do that because they automatically assume that all DPS players want to be able to be with the protection of their team, particularly the healers, of course. So I think that's a really smart strategy, especially if you're able to get away from the enemy attackers like Chicken has been able to do this entire match.
Yes, indeed. But the Blizzard on the side of Dong Waggler there, kind of cleaning up that fight just before it could really ever have a chance to start. And again, Chicken Nugget got on this flank. Truly, it is the right way to play Soldier. Objectively, you kind of want to always be on a flank, always on an off angle, being menacing. But you can be as menacing as you want. A Blizzard is just too powerful.
Hot Choccy's time bank looking beautiful right now. Over 4 minutes on the clock, and they don't even have to drive this payload all the way. Rocky's going to want to try to set up on that turret mode. And finding Fanta, though, already looking good for Hot Choccy right now. Chicken Nugget God, though, still staying in the fray, taking out the protection offered by Bunny. But Dong Waggler finding Rain and opening things up here.
I mean, that truly was just a beautiful kind of play right there, right? You use the Bastion turret form to help break the opposing Mei wall, then the second it breaks and they're not expecting it, you wall somebody else off yourself, and there's nobody really to get to cart. The Bastion rolls it in, and that's going to be Hot Choccy reverse sweeping it with a 2-1.
You love to see that, those good old reverse sweeps, because obviously from Overwatch League, reverse sweeps are just so entertaining to see because it's like the classic underdog story of the team that didn't look good before now coming back and winning it all. MTD, though, they looked amazing too. Like, we could sit here and talk all day about the amazing plays we've seen them do. Tank-wise, DPS-wise, support-wise, everybody contributed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a team effort at the end of the day for both of these teams. So, you know, handshakes all around. Was a phenomenal match to get to witness and watch play. And yeah, I mean, both these teams do well. Unfortunately, that is the end of MTD2 here. But like I said, this team is just a great group of people. They're all loved in the community. Make sure to catch them in future events because I promise they'll be there.
They definitely provide entertainment for everybody watching because of just the sheer ability of them as well as Hot Choccy just to make those amazing plays. play those really nice and unique compositions. Like, I don't think we would expect a Bastion comp very often, even with the new Overwatch 2 rework. And then on the side of MTD, of course, like the Reinhardt play from Rain was just so good. Like all around, and of course, Fanta even on the DPS coming in late there are cracked on the Hanzo.
Yeah, absolutely cracked on the Hanzo. And yeah, I mean, it really just kind of, it's tragic that we're already, past, our group stage is already in our bracket and stuff like that, because I would have loved to see some more MTD, as apparently the lower game already got played, so we're filling out the bracket pretty well here if we take a look at it. Hot Chalky versus Draw 2. The winner of that gets to fight Peep This, and the winner of that will be going to our grand final, where Unpopular Demand 2 lies in wait.
This is an interesting bracket to see because Unpopular Demand is looking pretty popular right now. Already secured a spot in the grand finals, as you mentioned. So I'm going to be eager to see how Hot Chalky is going to be squaring up against Draw 2, because it looks like they've been pretty dominant. Like in the upper bracket before they were taken out, they managed to take a map off of Peep This, who is in the lower finals right now. And for the side of Hot Chalky, like, it looks like both teams were able to beat MTD. So I'm interested to see if Hot Chalky can beat Draw 2 or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be definitely some interesting games to see. I believe the rest of the B-League games are happening tomorrow. Potentially, you could see that match of Hot Chalky versus Draw 2 later tonight. I'm not too sure on the scheduling, but, the game is happening at some point this weekend. That is a guarantee.
Make sure to catch up on that and the rest of A-League for our fun Overwatch 2 Beta Brawl. That's going to be it for us tonight.
Adios.
OBPL.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the BPL Beta Brawl. It's Newbie here with my buddy Aegis as we get ready for another match between two neutral cat Emojicons and Solomon Island Salamanders. So how's it going, Aegis?
Feeling good, feeling good. I'm really excited. This is the first game I've casted for Overwatch 2, so I've managed to play a little bit in the beta. I'm hoping my casting is better than my playing because it's been a struggle so far.
Aegis, I hope your casting's better than your playing too, because I'm normally on your team, so it really goes south for both of us when that happens. So looking forward to this match. We got two really fun teams looking at it. Let's take a look at the rosters, Aegis.
Yeah, so on two neutral cat Emojicons, we got Tomathon, which we've been told is the Canadian tank. So all of the tanks now for two neutral cat Emojicons are Canadian, with Dirt and Ghost P on the damage, and Frags and Illuminous are on the support line.
Yes, and for Solomon Islands Salamanders number 2, we have Genesex, Vincent, Distortion, Manny, and Ant. So two really talented teams about to go at it here. Showcase some Overwatch 2 and Aegis. What are you going to be looking for in these first couple matches in this Overwatch 2 era?
Looking at the Salamanders, Vincent, Distortion, and Manny are all listed as support. So I'm curious how that's gonna kind of work out. If they're who is going to be playing damage on that. So that's mostly what I'm looking for. But we have seen teams leaning towards kind of like the old school tank lineups we saw, especially in our previous match, a lot of Reinhardt, Lucio. So people playing a little bit more to those comfort picks. For those that are in the beta, it might be a little bit surprising. I think players are definitely trying to get their feet wet with a lot of the new tank changes, like the Orisa, like the Doomfist. So I am curious if we're going to see some of those old favorites come back for Lijiang Tower, which is going to be our first map here. We'd often seen a lot of Wrecking Ball, and then, you know, obviously still some Rush with some Symmetra and things like that. So I am very curious if we are going to see that Reinhardt come back or that Wrecking Ball come back, or if we're going to see teams, you know, try and experiment a little bit. I don't know if you've played against an Orisa so far in the beta, but it's absolutely horrific. They don't seem to die as long as I'm not the healer. So what I've seen so far quite a bit of is a lot of Moira, a lot of Lucio, and a lot of Mercy. It seems like the supports that have kind of that escape or that get out of jail free card seem to be very much in the meta right now from what I've seen, although it is only quick play. I think everyone's just trying to stay alive at the moment.
And here we go on Lijiang Tower. We got Control Center coming up first with Genesex going in on the Wrecking Ball to start us off. Both teams looking like they're going to come together on the objective already. Tomathan on the Orisa trying to engage here, seeing if they can get some early damage on. There's already been a pick put in onto the Pharah. The Pharah gets res right away, so they're right back in it. Manny with a nice resurrection there to keep them into the fight. And with the Helix Rocket right to the head of Illuminous, that's going to get rid of them. Send them back to spawn. There's no more resurrections available on that team with no mercy on the field. You can see right now both teams fighting tooth and nail for this objective, but nobody can seem to get that upper hand. And as I say that, the Solomon Island Salamanders do get that upper hand. A nice slam coming in from Genesex, and they are going to take the first cap of this match.
Doing a nice job cleaning up this damage that's coming in from the Pharah. And Ant as well. You can see Ant making their way back up to the high ground.
A nice little poke coming in here from Zhu Xiaopeng. I'm really sorry if I'm saying that one wrong. Just going off the seat of my pants here. Genesex trying to go around to the left-hand side, seeing if they can get another slam, and gets caught up a little bit on the stairs. Nice slam coming in the end, though. Tomathan was able to get a pick as they came back on the D.Va, and now Illuminous gets killed by the sleep dart. You don't see that one every day, but when you do, it really doesn't feel too great. Nice hack coming out onto the Wrecking Ball, but that's only going to delay their death momentarily for Ghost P. And with that, Solomon Island Salamanders looking really good right now.
Just been punishing the Pharah, is making sure they're not able to make any of those rotations for free. There's always some sort of damage coming. Like, they're outside the spawn, and you're getting these rockets coming in, just so much spam damage.
And now there is a barrage online for Zhu Xiaopeng as well. trying to get in through this door, seeing if they can find a good angle. Gonna drop right in on the soldier. See you later, Bobby. Bobby never saw that one coming, and they get absolutely annihilated by the barrage.
It's a pretty cheap fight here that kind of seems to have shut it down a little bit, although, as I say that, two neutral cat Emojicons starting to invest ultimate.
They are really going to try and pull this one back, and was able to take down Illuminus again. And attack buzzer's big as it gets rid of Thompson's mech and the pilot. And with that, Solomon Island Salamanders is up to 84% and counting. They are close to putting this one in the bag.
This actually works out for them. I think the Coalescence investment here, obviously an ultimate that you can build up pretty quickly. They do trade that for a Nano Visor and the Valkyrie. So it's just going to be the minefield here for Genesect. And there it comes.
And the neutral cats have to get onto the point now as we are into overtime. EMP comes out from Ghost P, and that allows Bobby Boy to get rid of two with the attack visor. Banny's the next to fall. No resurrection left in the fight for the Salamanders. Can they hold on? And is going to get one more on Ghost P. Thompson trades that right back in, and the flip has come through. Neutral cat Emojicons are still in this fight.
Whoa, yeah, almost C9 there. I think it was Mayer on the Moira heads up play to remain on that point. Almost died for their efforts, but they've done a nice job here. They are going to have the Diva Bomb, and that's about it here to hold on to this point, but no ultimates on the side of the Salamanders.
They are going to engage onto the point again. Genesect has switched over to that Orisa, but they've already got two. Bomb coming in over the top is not going to find anything as Illuminus goes down to the sound wave. And with the Salamanders are holding strong onto the point, just got to get rid of these stragglers now as Zhu Xiaofang back on that. Genji is able to finish off Thompson once again. And with that, the flip has gone through. Overtime burning away. There is a little bit of a touch. Bobby Boy able to get onto the point before they lose their life. That is going to do it for the first sub-map of the day. That's going to go to Solomon Island Salamanders. They're up 1-0.
It was looking good for them. They had a fairly cheap fight win towards that last fight and just couldn't hold on. It seemed like the Salamanders had no problems just relying on those mechanics, not worried about the ultimate economy, just getting these kills in the neutral to take that right back. I don't think any massive changes really need to be coming in here. It did seem like the Pharah was causing quite a bit of trouble on that side, though. I don't think we're going to get another one here, which kind of surprises me. This is another map with a pretty high skybox. You know, it's strange not to see the Pharah.
It is an interesting bit of a wrinkle, but they still do have the one flyer in the Echo. As you can see, Jen getting in there very quick on the Wrecking Ball, trying to engage, gets hit by the Rocket Punch, but they're able to stay on with the Pile Driver, so they're still going to live for the time being, but they were able to get two on the boom. Jen doing a lot of work on that Wrecking Ball off the start. Zhu Xiaofang's able to get one with the Focusing Beam, and that's going to be a quick fight coming through for Salamanders. They are off to another fantastic start.
Really interesting support lineup here for the Salamanders. Both supports want to be playing, pretty close to the rest of their team with the Moira Lucio. And there's not really any other players or any other heroes on the team that want to stick around. You got the Echo that's going to be way up in the air, and then the Wrecking Ball who's going to be pretty self-sustaining. So it's really just Ant that's going to be probably just babysitting the heroes a little bit. I do want to point out the amount of soldier that we have seen in these games.
And unfortunately, Jen's going to go down early in that one. They find the holographic fishes at the bottom of that well. And now Clover coming back in, able to get one pick on the Moira. And Salamanders are still holding on to this point, making it so hard for the members of two neutral cats to come back in onto the point. You can see the battle is moved over there now. Ghost P getting back in on the Tracer, doing as much damage as they can. But Ant's doing just a little bit more as they clear another 2K. Ant is looking unbelievable with this Soldier 76.
This fight was finished. The Salamanders had lost this fight. Manny manages to stick around completely uncontested, just riding around the outside of the point, and it never gets flipped. I think they just need a little bit more focus fire there from Cat Emojicons, because that should have been their point. I think did they think they already had it?
Unfortunately, now they're still in the position of trying to get in onto the point, but they're going to have to deal with another attack visor coming up from Ann, who's able to survive the Pulse Bomb with 15 HP, but not able to survive that Rocket Punch. Chump Bomb was able to finish him off, and now the attack visor is coming out this time, and is not going to find too much. They are going to go down, and That is actually, sorry, that was the Echo. That was Juja Fan coming in with the Tac Visor. And with that, Salamanders are still holding on to this fight.
Here we are now seeing the attack coming out from And. This might be their chance.
And with that, that is the true and Tac Visor coming out this time, getting two. Now they got to focus down Illuminus's Lucio, just wall riding over the outside, trying to see if they can stay alive, stall that point for as long as they can. And now the members of Neutral Cats are going to have to contend with that minefield, and they do not have the stuff they need to get back in on the point. And with that, Salamanders off to a great start, up 1-0 with a strong showing on Lijiang Tower.
Just playing to their win conditions really well. The Genesex, especially on this wrecking ball, is causing so much disruption, and that along with the flyers that we saw with the Pharah and the Echo, punishing all these rotations. There was no fight where they went. They were able to just kind of walk in. They're not giving up any of the space available to the neutral cat Emojicons, and it shows. They had to use cooldowns just to get to the point.
It's always so costly when you've basically expended half of your resources just getting to the objective, and then you got nothing left in the tank to actually take the fight when it occurs. And that was something Solomon Island Salamanders used quite a bit to secure themselves a couple sub-map wins, take Lijiang Tower in convincing fashion, and they're off and running as this is the first two.
Yeah, and playing it really nicely on that soldier. There was a couple points where it was like, oh, they died before they got the tac visor off. This could be really punishing. It wasn't. They just came back. Nice. That I really would have pointed that stall from Manny bought them so much time. Then Ant's able to come back and use that tac visor to great effect. So, we saw some great plays coming out from pretty much all the players there on the Salamanders, but I really want to point out Manny doing a nice job being so elusive on that point and not allowing it to get flipped. I think that completely changed the pace of that game, the tempo of that game, and you got to feel bad when you've fully won a fight and probably thought you took the point, and just wasn't the case.
It's definitely a bit of a sinking feeling when that happens. But Aegis, you mentioned the tempo as well. And I know it's early days. We've only casted one map together for Overwatch 2. But I know a lot of people have been talking about how Overwatch 2 feels a little bit faster than the original. And did you find that in our first map?
Absolutely. There's a lot less posturing. Usually your main tank will come forward, take some space, and then your off tank will be there to kind of hold that space, hold any off angles. There just isn't as much posturing happening here. And if you find yourself posturing for a long time, you're probably losing. It seemed to be the case where if you're stuck at a choke and you're not moving quickly or taking one of the many flank routes, especially on these new maps, your time bank just disappears. Even on these King of the Hill maps, you have to be on the move. You have to be taking multiple angles. And now with with most of the shields gone, you can take multiple angles and not worried you're going to get shut down.
It's really true. And I really like how fluid Overwatch 2 feels, at least so far, right? Like you're saying with the less posturing, a lot of times there's fewer chokes that you have to work through, or with this smaller team comp with the 5v5, you just got to get through those chokes quicker. Obviously, there are less barriers to worry about as well. So it really does feel like a more fluid, a more responsive game. As we are looking at our second map, we are going to get a new map. It looks like, Aegis, we're going to be headed to Circuit Royale.
I'm excited to see this map. One thing I also want to point out is it very much feels like you're always doing something.
Right.
And I guess when I'm talking about posturing, the amount of times that you would spend just with, running double shield, shooting their double shield, and trying to wait for a mistake in cooldowns or in deployment of these shields, and then you kind of make your move. There's a lot less of that by virtue of having one less tank.
Yes, Barrier Watch is dead now, and that is something to be celebrated everywhere. I think it definitely makes for a more exciting watch, at least for us as casters, as we are headed to Circuit Royale now. And one aspect of this map I really enjoy is the sharp change in high ground between on the second point with the giant hill that comes in. I think it's the biggest hill they've made in Overwatch to date, and I really does find it really dictates how fights can be played.
Yeah, as soon as you get that kind of elevation in, it completely flips what you want to be doing here. Both teams coming out, maybe could make a double shield composition if they put the tanks together. No longer, though, especially with Tomathon on the Orisa, which no longer even has a shield.
Exactly, 2 neutral cat emoticons starting out on the attacks. Solomon Island Salamanders on the defense as we get ready to go here. Tomathon, you see, pushing forward with the Orisa, just trying to buy a little bit of space right now. Has to be wary of the Salamanders up on this high ground.
Sombra in the back line, trying to put some pressure here onto the Echo and not really finding too much purchase, although they are starting to get some of that distraction coming through, and you can see Emojicons moving forward with some of the attention that's been pulled away.
Without that second tank there to peel, it can be easier to split attentions of the defending team and then really start building space on top of that. You can see Tomathon still pushing forward, has to use the halt on the Orisa to try and mitigate some of that incoming damage that's coming through from Anne on the Soldier 76, trying to burn down the tank. But so far, so good for the Orisa, able to stay alive, still has some of that armor, and you can really see right now how hard that Orisa can be.
Oh, they're so difficult to kill as long as they're getting their resources. And as soon as they get up in your face, it's terrifying with like the spinning javelin. It is a sight to behold. Orisa the Brawl tank. I'm really enjoying it so far.
Speaking of getting up in your face, Ghost P and Bobby, they're able to do a nice job to get rid of Manny on the Lucio, but now Bobby has fallen themselves as Genesex was able to get a pick. You can see the payload is still moving. They've already got 1 checkpoint and are almost halfway to the second. This race car is just burning through the streets right now.
Making very good time here. 440 still on the clock, and we're going up this hill that you were talking about. This can get really dicey. If you get stuck on this hill, it's just gross.
And now here comes in the Orisa from Tomathon. It's not going to pull anyone in and slam them down, but it does deplete some of the HP pools, but it's not going to matter for Ant. They're going to push forward with the help of their main tank, who is now gone down. So no tanks right now in the fight. It's going to be 4v4, and Illuminous is going to try and take advantage. They get 1 pick on the Zenyatta before Bobby's able to throw in the Tac Visor with the Transcendence combo. And that is a recipe for success. Great play coming out from Illuminous and Bobby, and they're going to get very close to taking this second point.
This is key, I think. You get a contester right at the end. It's just going to be Genesex, not finding a ton of value there.
Gen went in, tried to contest as long as they get the rest of the Salamanders have backed up, seeing if they can stay alive. They got to be careful. Ghost P does have that EMP online, but they're not going to need it. Discord Orb plus the Sombra is going to take care of the Genji, and now on to point 3 we go, and there's a huge time bank, just under 5 minutes.